My name is Ella O'Neill. I am 16 years old. I'm a junior at Stevenson, class 2022.
Everything's perfect, right? But this school is built on the foundation of intolerance, the foundation of sexism, the foundation of homophobia, the foundation of ableism, the foundation of religious intolerance, the foundation of racism, of everything wrong and problematic in this world.
So, after my freshman year, after a few, I guess, racially charged incidents happened, I I was referred to the Club Fire at Stevenson, and I started doing that, and that's kind of how I started learning how I can respond to specific issues, how I can step up as a member of the Stevenson community, but also just like my community in general, and how I can be a leader in that sense. And then I kind of took it on my own later, and so I continued to do that during sophomore year. It was just a lot of me starting with like Stevenson clubs and then like learning how to approach situations, I guess. And then I kind of just took it on my own. I think it was after I started talking more to a lot of the Black students at Stevenson who also go through similar things as me. And they're all my friends, and I think something pushed me. I think it was sophomore year. I feel like it was just something pushed me to the point where I wanted to do something about it. I was tired of like sitting and listening and like talking about how I was going through this or I was going through that, or I heard another person went through this or another person went through that, and it was more of just like I want to do something about it. So when that poem, so I think the first thing that started getting attention was my response to it specifically. But once the poem, which was a whole thing, felt like I had a lot of support. In different ways, I had a lot of criticism, but a lot of support at the same time. And then I think when my poem started getting traction, I felt like that was more meaningful to me than the initial like start of it. I think because it's one thing to be like frustrated with another person about an incident, but it's another thing to support them in their creativity and art, what they do, because that poem to me was like really important, and it touched on a lot of things, and I worked really hard on creating it. So I guess I felt really supported and hopeful in a way, because for so long after I was like, oh, I'm the only one. Oh, this is like me and this small group of students, only like we are the only ones who feel this way. We're the only ones who feel like there's something wrong or something going on. And I think that sparked conversation. And I'm not saying that like the poem sparked, like, I'm not saying that this whole incident sparked conversation, because that already kind of started with everything going on in the world. But I think it was part of it that started having people talk. And I think it sparked conversation, and that's kind of like the first step to moving forward and like creating change, is like talking with people about what's going on. I don't know, it made me feel better about what was going on, and it felt like I wasn't alone, that I like with everything that was going on, I guess. So we started, so the alumni formed the group first. They started having conversations about it, and they talked to me. They're like, hey, we're putting together this really good group, and I think that you'd be perfect in helping us create this. So I was like, okay, that sounds great. So we started doing work, and then we realized how many people were on our side with this, right? So then we formed, within that big Black Lives Matter, SHS, or whatever, we formed a tiny group with the socially active students at Stevenson that I knew, they knew, whatever. It was a small group, probably like 20 people, and we started cracking down. We was just, at first, like for the first few weeks, it was just us throwing ideas and like, what about this? What if we do this? There's so much conflict, so much like back and forth between a lot of issues, and then we finally were like, why don't we do a petition for a town hall? That seems like the best. So many signatures on the town hall petition, so many people joining, so many people doing this and that. We really worked hard creating the petition. We worked hard trying to organize more things. Recently, I took a step back from the group. I took a step, so I don't really know what's happening anymore with that right at the moment. I'm still in contact with a few of them, but I took a step back because mentally, this summer was a lot. So, I'm not. I'm definitely involved in a lot of like the social justice aspect of it, but in a different way. Like I'm with a few of them that kind of backed off a bit. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely been moments when when things slipped specific like in different ways, right? So like I do, like you mentioned, I do track and I do like a lot of activism work now. I used to do theater. I still teach, like I still help with TA theater classes and stuff, and I'm an FMP now, and I do so many things. Yeah, I do a lot. But there's definitely one thing that slips at a time, and I'm trying really, really hard to balance it. I think the only thing that I can do is I talk to my parents a lot about what's going on. I really try to like I'm a very organized person. I always create like a schedule or something where I know like that I have a little bit of focus in each part of something too. Yeah, so Miss Chusett, she's a theater teacher, she's one of the theater directors. She has really helped me. She's really given me this space so I feel like I have a voice that matters, and I can say what I want to say, but I can also be myself. I'm not, when I step into her room or when when there's an incident that happens, I go to her. There's a specific reason why I go to her, because when I go to her or when I go into the theater class or whatever I do, I'm not the black girl that people see. I'm not like, oh, that's Ella. She's the black girl that's the black girl who, is like so active on like, that's not who I am. I'm something way more than just like the label of what I look like. And I think she helped me not only give me that space so I am Ella, not just like the labels that come with me, but also reminded me of who I am, and gave me that, like, helped me realize that I'm not just those labels.